Hello, everyone, and welcome back to a brand new episode of Shameless in Chicago. This is your host, Nin.
And I'm Luke.
And on today's episode, we're going to be giving some advice.
I fear for whoever's receiving this advice.
You know what? I don't, because you are everyone's gay best friend, and I am everyone's, Middle Eastern girly best friend, so why not?
True. So how are we getting these questions?
So, because we're not famous enough yet. We will one day. We actually got these advice off of Reddit, so it's r/advice. So I went through some, and I'm going to be reading them out loud, and Luke is going to hear them also for the first time, and we're just going to be giving these people some advice.
I love these unhinged Reddit posts, honestly.
I do too.
These people are so out of pocket.
You know what? I'm surprised that Reddit isn't like a social media thing. Like, you know how like people scroll through TikTok?
They do.
When I need to get on this bandwagon because I'm literally scrolling. I was scrolling to find something to read for this podcast. And I was like, wait, these are so interesting. And here I am like.
You build your own algorithm upon making your account. So that way you kind of like decide what pops up in your feed.
Oh, I'd be afraid of that. I like to read some gnarly shit.
Moving on. So we've turned to the popular subreddit r/advice. Mm-hmm. And Nen's going to read us our first story.
Yes. This one I found interesting, and I feel like I can talk about it because, you know what? You can talk about anything. You don't need a reason to talk about something. You can talk about anything.
God gave you a voice.
Right. We have freedom of speech in this country. We have freedom of speech, period. It doesn't need to be a law. Okay?
Period.
Anyways, so this one says, my overweight brother has hit peak laziness, and my family doesn't know how to deal with it anymore. So I thought that these people, again, their titles, super interesting. Attention grabbing, A1. So to get right into it, my younger brother is 5'6" and weighs 300 pounds. He just turned 13. Oh, yeah.
Wow. Wait, hold on. Backtrack. What's the height-weight ratio?
5'6".
Okay.
So about like your height, my height?
No.
My height?
I'm 5'10".
Okay, I'm 5'5". So yeah.
Okay.
300 pounds.
At 13?
13.
At 13.
Yeah. All right. So 5'6", 300 pounds, 13 years old. We got it through, right? The average weight for someone his height is only 133 to 163 pounds. He thinks that being obese is a form of being cute.
No.
I think somebody's probably abling this behavior because people probably look at him like, oh, you're so chunky, you're so cute.
Well, it's also, how are they teaching control, you know?
Yeah.
I used to get a $12, and this is what my boyfriend laughs at me for. Mm-hmm. I used to get a $12 weekly allowance.
Oh, nice.
My little fat self, because I was really kind of a pudgy kid. I was never 300 pounds at 5'5". But my pudgy self, I would ride the bike into town, and I would go to probably 3 or 4 different fast food restaurants because I only had $12, and you could get a lot back then. And I would just eat my allowance away in a day.
Yeah.
So I wasn't really taught control too well, you know? I was just kind of thrown to the wind. We were, if there's no sugar in it, you can keep eating in a household.
Yeah.
We had a lot of sugar-free popsicles.
Oh, my gosh.
But yeah, that sounds like a self-control issue.
So continuing on, it says all he does is eat hot Cheetos, greasy cheese-packed burgers, and Mountain Dew. He eats anything to stay unhealthy, and me and my mother both realized that he does it as a sympathy plea. He has hit peak laziness, refusing to get up for school, and has come up with pretend illnesses to gain sympathy from my mother. He's basically manipulating her into getting what he wants whenever he wants. He refuses to eat healthy foods and gets rather aggressive/violent when he hasn't any vegetable or fruits in his meals. He acts as if being healthy is equivalent to a bad thing. He doesn't have any exercise intake either. The only way we can get him out of our house is by bribing him with food or taking his phone. Unfortunate, I know. Oh my God, look at your face. I know, I feel so bad for this kid. When he runs, it's more like a light jog. My mother has been trying to get him to be healthier, eating and activity-wise, but he throws a tantrum and still gets his way no matter what. I would say a lot of the issue stems from his phone. He's always on it. His phone addiction has gotten so bad to the point where he goes days without sleep, and when he does manage to finally pass out from lack of sleep, he's sleeping all day. He just stays in bed. He has reached peak laziness, in my opinion. He refuses to shower. He has to almost fight my mom to even step foot in water. He would rather rot in bed all day long and wait for his hair to get so packed with grease to even think about bathing. We try to take him out, but the only way he'll get out of bed if he's bribed with food and gift cards for his Roblox game. In conclusion, what I'm trying to say is, does anyone think that they have any idea how to help us out? This has been going on for about a year or two now, and my mother has grown tired of it. She and I both, actually. It's more like everyone in our home. But anyway, advice is greatly appreciated.
Yeah, you got to cut off the Wi-Fi.
Ooh.
No, for real. So my boyfriend just got the AT&T all upgraded, and the app allows you to stop traffic to specific devices, so that way the whole family doesn't have to suffer.
Oh, wow.
And I totally blame like lockdown for all of these children being obsessed with their screens like this, because that's all they've known for so many years.
That's true, because if this kid is 13, then he started at 10. If it's been going on for a year or two, then that means...
Those are very formative years.
Yeah.
But my biggest advice would be to shut off the Wi-Fi. You're going to endure probably 2 weeks. It's an addiction for them at this point. So maybe even 28 days of them trying to break this habit.
Yeah.
Kid needs to go outside, touch some grass, and get to the human activities that are going to help him be healthier.
You know what's funny that you mentioned that is that when I was younger, I was a rebellious kid, and my mom found out that I had a Facebook account. She did.
I hid mine for so long too.
You did too?
Yes, I did in my MySpace.
So I had a Facebook account, and then my mom's cousin, who's very like tech savvy and she knows all these things, she was like, I have to tell you, to my mom in front of me. She's like, Nin has a Facebook account. And I was like, fuck, how did you find it? She goes, you popped up on my recommended, friends you may know. And I was like, shit, I really blew that cover. So she was like trying to talk my mom out of it. She was like, it's okay, relax. It's just Facebook. And mind you, guys, we grew up in the early 2000s. So
yeah, this was all where the serial killers hung out. Now we get to vet the serial killers before we meet them.
Right. This is like when Facebook first started emerging, the MySpace days.
We had to lie about, say we were 13 when we were 11,
Yeah. I lied and said I was like 16. Yeah, I thought that was so old.
Yeah, I'm always 2 years older on Facebook. I can't change it.
1000%. So my mom's cousin was like, you know what? I'll cut you a deal. How about we do this? We go through your friend list and we remove friends that are not actually your friends, because if you guys remember, Facebook used to be privacy, right? Like everyone was like, I want to be private on Facebook and all that. And it still kind of reigns true to this day. But my mom was like, okay, we'll do that. And then my mom, after a few days, was like, no, you know what? Delete the Facebook. So she called up her cousin and was like, please delete this Facebook. I do not want my daughter having this. Honestly, I was in 5th, 6th grade. I had no business having a Facebook. And then, so my mom's cousin and I, we all hung out and I deleted my Facebook. And then I made another one behind my mom's back.
Oh, no.
And she found it again.
Did you change the name at all? No.
Yeah. Listen, you're not that bright in 6th grade.
Okay.
So my mom found out I had a Facebook and she's like, how the hell did you make a Facebook? And I was like, I ain't revealing my secrets. No magician reveals his secrets.
Sorry, Miss Nin's mom, but she just signed up again.
Right. So I signed up again. She found out again and deleted it. But not only did we delete my Facebook, my mom called the internet company.
No.
And canceled my internet. For a full year, we had no internet at all.
I love that. She went nuclear.
My mom showed me punishment for real. No BS.
I mean, back then, did you really need it that honestly? Like there was not that much to do in 2008.
You know why I needed the internet? It was because in eighth grade or 7th or 8th grade, we had this thing called the Decades Project, where every year we had to research every decade in America. And I had to do historical type of modern research for America. And that was the only time my mom was like, okay, we kind of need this for learning. But to go back to our story, I think this mom is accepting the bullying from her kid and not the other way around. The mom is the boss of the household. The kid is not your boss. So your kid can rebel and your kid can do as much things as they want. But at the end of the day, you are the boss. Do not be afraid of your kid. If you want to cut off the internet, if you want to cut off
the power, Turn off the fuse box.
But also, this kid is getting these cheeseburgers from somewhere, these hot Cheetos from somewhere.
A 13-year-old does not have a job.
A 13-year-old is not making any income other than from their parents. So you need to cut that off immediately. And they're abling this child.
Poor kid, honestly. Poor kid.
I do feel sympathy for this kid because when I was younger, I loved candy. I wanted chocolate bars all the time. Every time we went to Target, they had those chocolate bars. They still do. Walmart have those chocolate bars. And I'd be like, I want a piece of chocolate. My mom would say no all the time. When we did get those chocolate bars, it was when my dad would go out with us. And mind you, my dad didn't really go out with us that often. It was like once a month or something like that. And we knew if we asked my dad, he would say yes. And we'd be like, Dad's the cool parent. You're lame. And she was like, I don't care. When you guys get older, you're going to thank me for this. At my age, oh my God, I thank my mom so much because I don't have cavities. I don't have root canals. I literally have great teeth, mashallah, thank God. Like, because of her, I thank her. But at the moment, I didn't like her. But as an adult, which is a lot longer than your childhood years, you're going to thank your parent because it's their responsibility to lead their child in the right direction.
Exactly. So I hope this kid gets his internet cut off or his power cut off or just stop the Roblox cash from rolling in and, get him outside. Touch some grass. It's all you need to do.
Mm-hmm. And make it fun.
Yeah. Outside can be just like Roblox. Make yourself a little car. I don't know what it's about, but I think kids these days are playing some weird shit. But yeah, don't be the perpetuator. Don't be the reason your child's going to grow up not only unhealthy in their health, but also unhealthy in their way of thinking because you are not doing them a favor by not preparing them for the real adult world as early as possible. Yeah,
exactly. And also you're like not preparing your child for a job because some of these jobs, they're like ability to lift heavy, lift 25, 50 pounds. Yeah.
I once had to go for my first warehouse job, which is a very, very standard job in this day's age, which, is a very good chance that he's going to be in a warehouse.
And
at some point.
Very startup job for teenagers.
I had to go through a physical. They not only, did a drug test, but they said we need to make sure your body is physically able to move, push, lift, jump, or do all these things. Yep. And if I failed, I would have not had the opportunity for that job.
I agree. When I was training to become a lifeguard and I was applying for lifeguard positions, we had to do a physical test. You had to swim the length of the pool. You had to go all the way down 12 feet, get a brick, a 25-pound brick.
A 25-pound brick. Oh, yeah, because the kid weighs more.
Yeah, exactly. 25-pound brick. You had to lift it up, and then you have to swim the length of the pool back.
Wow.
All within, it was like, you had to be like less than a minute. Like,
really?
Oh, my God. Yeah, you had to be super quick with it.
Yeah, I'm glad there's some standards set for the people watching your pools.
Yeah, there's definitely a standard. But exactly, this kid is 13. In 3 years, they're going to be qualified to get a job. Warehouse position will be like, no. Lifeguard position will be like, no.
And in this day, or in this country even, there's not many jobs, especially for a teenager, where you're allowed to sit through the entirety of your shift. A lot of the basic requirements are, can you stand for at least 4 to 5 hours at a time?
No, they're like 8 hours now.
Yeah, but then they give you the break in between. You restart your 4 or 5 hours after your lunch break.
Yeah. And so this kid is not being prepared at all. And it's like, bro, they're 13. Like, this is their moldable years.
Yep. I was told I needed to get a job at age 15. I was not allowed to sit around the house. I got a job. I worked at a Culver's for a month, and then I got 6 other jobs for the entirety of my high school career. But I worked. Damn it.
Yeah, Luke really worked a lot.
I did, and I did after school activities too.
Yeah. The way my parents operated was I would always see the Volkswagen Beetle. I don't really see them on the streets anymore. I think probably because they discontinued them. But I don't know if you guys remember the movie A Cinderella Story with Hilary Duff. Do you guys remember that?
I'm gay. I'm not that gay.
Okay. A Cinderella Story, the stepsisters had a Volkswagen Beetle, and they would wear juicy outfits to match their Volkswagen Beetle, the color of it. And so I was like, I really want a Volkswagen Beetle. And so my parents said, okay, you want this car, you're going to have to buy it. And I was like, I'm sorry, what, you think I can afford a car? And they're like, well, if you want it, you have to buy it. And so I was like, nah, I'm not going to do that. And as time went on, I was like, you know what? No, I really want this car. So I was looking up $1,000 cars because, guys, again, we grew up in the early, like mid 2000s.
Yeah, my first car was actually $900.
Yeah,
It was a 1993 Chevy Caprice Classic with 63,000 miles on it, and I filled it through the the license plates.
Oh
That's
my
where the
God.
gas
Oh,
nozzle was. It was
yeah.
under the license plate.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I got that today. I think you would buy an old car with that many miles. You'd probably get a good at least $1,500 for it.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. And so my dad was like, you want a car? We're not giving you $1,000 car. We're giving you a $10,000 car. I was like, oh my God, you're giving me a $10,000 car? He's like, oh, no. You're getting yourself, and I'm going to pay this half with you. But I had to get the down payment. So they really taught me self-control in that way because I couldn't spend my money that I was getting from lifeguarding. I had to save up. And back then, getting $1,000 for a down payment was so difficult.
Did you make minimum wage?
No, I didn't.
Okay.
Lifeguards make more than minimum wage.
Okay,
They
good.
always make good money. And I was like, ooh, okay, well, I can't spend my money. And my friends were like, let's go out for dinner. I was like, I'll go with you guys, but I can't spend my money because I really want this car, you know?
Right, but you're there for the hang.
I'm there for the hang. And so when my dad was like, did you save up your $1,000? I was like, I did it. After 3 months, I saved up my $1,000.
Wow.
Yeah. So after that, I took my $1,000 to like literally in cash. I was so proud of myself.
Oh, you walked in like a drug dealer.
I walked into the guy and I was like, I'm here for serious business. I have $1,000 down payment. And he was like,
car.
the guy was excited. He was like, oh my God, your first car, let's do this. So my first car ever was a Honda Civic, 2007 Honda Civic. Yeah. I totaled her 3 months later.
Was it really 3 months?
Yeah.
It was really 3 months.
Yeah. We didn't have long with her. My poor Honda Civic. But thankfully, my dad was not upset. He came to me the next day with a catalog and was like, pick out a car. And I was like, you're not upset? And he's like, 1, accidents happen. 2, that was your money that went in the garbage.
Yeah, and you know what? You got insurance for it, right?
Yeah, I did. And I had gotten a good deal on the car. So my car was actually worth more than what I had bought it for. So the total price, I actually walked out, get this, with $1,000 more.
You want to hear something hilarious?
Go off.
My Caprice, which this happened to it if you're watching us on YouTube, I got into a really, really bad car accident.
Mm-hmm.
So I bought this car for $900. I was rear-ended. Long story short, I was rear-ended, and for a $900 car, I got a $3,000 payout.
Okay.
So yeah, I mean, miracles happen, right?
Yeah, that's so cool. And then what did you take with that $3,000?
With that $3,000, I got this 1993 Lincoln Town Car that fell apart on me. The air suspension fell apart, the rear view mirror fell off, and there was a sound bar instead of a speaker system. But I had all of the ashtrays and cigarette lighters on my doors.
Oh, yes. That one was interesting.
My gas tank also said it was empty when it was full all the time.
But it was like we were sitting in a couch.
Both my first
Yeah.
cars were like that. I love a bench seat.
Mm-hmm.
Love it.
It was very interesting times, guys, especially with that suspension.
Oh my god.
The way you felt like you were in a boat.
We lived in a very heavy train track area. So over every track, we would just kind of float over it like a cloud until the Lincoln got to the end of its life. And then it was more of a ka-chunk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you had multiple cars growing up.
Yes. Well, yeah. I had my Caprice, I had my Lincoln, I had a Cruise, and I'm actually on my 4th car of my life. I'm on my lovely Sentra.
But during those times, your parents were responsible for teaching you the value of $1.
Yep, and I paid my own insurance.
Yeah.
By their rule, I paid for all my own gas and
Yes.
maintenance. There was actually a couple times where the insurance company wanted to drop me because I was on an auto pay and I did not have enough money in my account. So they did help me, retain my insurance by
Yeah.
talking to the people, but I was financially responsible for everything
Yeah.
about my car, registration, taxes, everything.
And I think it's really important for parents to recognize and for you to recognize how much of an impact parents have, right? Because parents had parents once too.
Yep.
And they shape you into who you are. So for this Reddit of seeking advice of my overweight brother has hit peak laziness and my family doesn't know how to deal with it anymore, be parents. Be the older sister, but let the parents be the parents. And the kid is only 13. They'll get out of it, hopefully, but you have to lead them the right way. And it's going to be really difficult, but you have to choose which difficult you want. Mm-hmm. Alrighty, so now moving on to this one. This one's super interesting, and Luke is going to read it for you guys.
Give me that computer. We're going to switch our computers.
All right, guys, so for this next story, Luke is going to read it to you, and it's super interesting. I think this one is crazy, and I'm excited for you guys to listen to this one.
Submissions have been edited for length.
Yes.
So, our story today, I punched my wife's best friend for touching me inappropriately.
Again, the attention grabbers. That's why I clicked on it. Why did you punch her in the face?
All right, so I, 35 male, have been with my beautiful wife, 34 female, for close to 10 years. We have no kids as of now. My wife's best friend, Amy, has been friends with my wife for about 15 years, all throughout college where I originally met my wife. Me and Amy haven't ever been the best of friends. However, we've been cordial for the sake of my wife. I've always found her to be obnoxious, loud, and entitled. Now, on to the actual situation on hand. Amy's boyfriend, Khalid, had left her due to her annoying personality. Oh, poor, sorry, Amy. Amy has always been weird with me. She's constantly tried to DM me on Instagram, trying to make conversations about gossip in our friend group or completely random things. I have always ignored her. My wife has seen her strange behavior before, but she refuses to believe her dearest friend would have ill intentions. Anyway, after their breakup, Amy came over to see my wife. My wife was feeling ill on this day, so she took pills to help her sleep, and she fell asleep in a matter of an hour. I could not ask Amy to leave in the state she was in, so for my wife, I suggested she could sleep in the guest bedroom. She agreed and went to bed. I was in the kitchen cleaning up after dinner, and she waltzed into the kitchen with nothing but undergarments on. She acted shocked and claimed she didn't know I was still in the kitchen. I felt extremely uncomfortable and decided to call it a night. However, she started stripping and approaching me, telling me how my wife doesn't have to know, and she's seen the way I've looked at her. Ew.
I know.
This is icky. Girls, watch your friends.
Right. No, seriously. We said it in the previous podcast. Watch your friends.
Watch your friends. I was completely baffled and told her she'd gotten the wrong idea and to be ashamed to do this to her own best friend while I tried to scurry out of the kitchen. However, she practically leaped in front of me and touched my privates. Without a second thought, I hit her. Ooh, I would too, honestly.
No, and listen, sexual assault, male or female, is sexual assault.
Yeah, and it comes in many forms.
It does.
I know I could have easily pushed her, but in the moment I panicked and punched her in the face. Her eye was left bruised. She started wailing enough that my wife woke up and stumbled into the kitchen to see her best friend naked and bruised. Oh no. She went on about how I tried to violate her and I'm a disgusting human being and that she should divorce me. I snapped back that she approached me naked and a rejection wasn't enough for her to back off, so I punched her, hence the bruise. My wife didn't say anything. Instead, she fainted and I immediately brought her to the hospital. Is this Victorian England?
I don't know, but this man loves his wife so damn much.
My wife is now okay, but refuses to talk to me about what happened. On the other hand, Amy has now accused me of attempting to have sex with her in our friend group. Ugh. The majority of people don't believe her, but there's a few who live by always believe of a rape accusation. The other half told me I fucked up by punching her and fueling this anger. Amy has ruined my life. I'm afraid my wife will divorce me. And if this goes to court, I don't know where to go from here. And this guy says, I know the story sounds absurd and fake, but it's not.
You know what? The story sounds so absurd that I actually believe him. The reason I do believe him is because, I'm sorry, men out there, but they're not that creative to come up with a story like this.
And it happens, honestly, every day. We can't just let someone go because they're of a certain gender.
We really cannot.
No, so there's a potential to be a villain in every single one of us individuals as people.
Yes.
So I completely believe that this woman, in some sort of fit of grief, could even try to break up her best friend so that way they could be single together.
Jealousy is toxic.
Oh my God, can you imagine? I would never want to live with someone who looks at my life and wants to destroy it for their own self-pleasure.
It's unfortunate because we've literally ran into that in our lives.
Yes, we have.
And everyone runs into it at least once in their life. And this situation is so bizarre.
But what advice would you have to give this man? I feel like he really just needs to flat out find a way to say it. And if she's not believing you, then there might be another issue there if your wife doesn't trust you.
So if this man is listening, or if you are in a similar situation, the advice that I would have to give is that, one, why was she naked? Why would you bring her into the kitchen to do sexual pleasures onto her, right? Wouldn't you do it in her bedroom while she's asleep?
Yeah, you have a whole guest bedroom and a whole bed.
Right, exactly. You wouldn't go to the kitchen. Second of all, this guy says she DMs him and all of that. And then since she recently went through a breakup, there was more about Amy's relationship with Khaled, but we didn't go into it for the sake of time. However, Khaled can probably vouch for him that she's pretty freaking annoying. And on top of that, she went through a breakup and then sees her friend so happily in love with this man, right? Because this guy, I don't know what his name is, but this male.
We'll call him John.
No, we're not calling him John.
Call him Jim.
We'll call him Jim. All right. We're going to call this man Jim.
Hi, Jim.
Jim loves his wife so damn much that he is willing to put aside his feelings towards her best friend because he loves his wife. Like, he literally says it. For the sake of my wife, I try to get along with this woman. I try to let her be in the friend group, all of that. So we got that one down. Second of all, Jim loves his wife so much that he opens his house doors to this lady he does not like, nor does he trust. So I think right there.
Yeah, he even said in the state that she was in, she shouldn't have been going like anywhere alone because she probably would have hurt herself or someone else.
Exactly. And they've been together 10 years and she's only known Amy for 15 years. So Amy has 5 years on her.
And this man's been putting up with Amy for 10 years.
So Amy doesn't have a stable relationship. Khaled was a new boyfriend. He didn't stay with her long. And so she sees, wait, my friend's been in this relationship for 10 years. Let me break it up so we can be the single best friends and glamorize the singleness, which, like, you know, if you're in a happy, healthy relationship, you should be so proud for your friend. But there are people out there that will try to sabotage it.
So the advice that we have for this man is just keep trying, try to rationalize to your wife. Mm-hmm. You know, all you can do is tell the truth. You can't hide the truth for very long. And
present the facts to your wife. And if your wife truly loves you, at the end of the day, your partner should love you more than anyone and anything else, right? And so...
And no one here judges you for punching that woman. We would all do the same thing.
We would all do the same.
There's no reason that woman should have not been punched.
No, my sister was at a party and some guy grabbed her ass.
Punch him.
She punched him.
Good.
She did.
Him.
She punched him right in the face.
Anyone that has anything towards sexual assault, punch them. Punch them hard.
Nobody should be touching you inappropriately.
No.
So we're here, like, go off. Okay. And the thing is he didn't pummel her. That's the thing. He punched her to get rid of the threat. He didn't
go for her while she was down or anything. He didn't kick her in the ribs.
No.
He tried to leave.
Yes.
She would not let him leave.
Yes.
And then that man panics because there's a naked woman in your house while your wife's asleep on medication happening. Yeah. That's not a good look.
It's terrible. And then his wife, like, dude, if your wife doesn't believe you, if she doesn't talk to you, then I think you probably love her more than she loves you.
Yeah, and then maybe you need to reassess.
Yeah. It's an unfortunate situation.
So, Jim, I am so sorry for your hell in a handbasket life going on right now, and I truly, truly hope that it gets better, but there are plenty of fish in the sea with less crazy friends if that's what it comes to. I understand you love your wife, and 10 years is a lot of time to invest, but you have the rest of your life ahead of you, even if she can't see that herself.
Yeah, exactly. And guys and girls out there, if your partner has a friend that just gives you the ick, that you don't trust, something's going on, cut it off before you have kids.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because you would not want that person to be around your children.
Not at all.
Absolutely not. So be careful out there. Find good friends. Find wise friends. If your partner is telling you, hey, I don't really like your friend, they probably don't like your friend for a reason. It's probably pretty valid. Unless it's like a manipulation type of thing. But other than that, assuming that, it's a healthy relationship.
Trust your instincts, trust your gut. And if you need to, seek outside help. Sometimes you need a third perspective.
But the thing is, your third perspective with your friendship is your partner, right?
Yeah.
Like, you don't see what's going on, but your partner is like, look, this person just, something's there. And I
would talk to my mom, honestly. If I know there's a bias between the two, I would talk to my mom.
Oh, if there's a bias.
Yeah, because he says in his story, they're not the best of friends. Mm-hmm. So he obviously has, it may be a valid bias, but it's still a bias. And if his girlfriend knows that, I think stepping back and talking to someone completely out of it, which my mom, she's not like in all my friendship groups and all that.
That's very true.
So she's a very good outside perspective because she has no bias.
That's actually
Talk
very
to
true.
your parents, and that way you know your stuff's not getting all talked around your friend group. You can just talk to your family and trust if you can trust your family.
Right. Alrighty, guys. Well, thank you so much for joining us on today's episode. I think this one was really interesting. I loved reading everyone's story. And if you want us to speak about some advice that you would like to receive, go ahead and DM us on Instagram. We'll keep it 100% confidential and anonymous.
And I will be completely unhinged if the situation calls for it.
Yes. But we love doing these types of episodes. Thank you guys so much for joining us. If you are listening to this on a podcast streaming platform, go ahead and leave us 5 stars. Go ahead and subscribe to us as well. If you're watching this on YouTube, go ahead and like this video, subscribe to our channel. And we are here for you every week. And we have some really exciting stuff coming up in the future. We have an interview coming up, so don't miss that.
All right, everyone. Join us next time as Nin shows us how she does her dance. What are you going to do for us?
Guys, if you're watching this on YouTube, cue Luke's dance before we started filming. Alrighty, bye everyone.
Bye.